Good morning, everybody. Hope that you all well. Kind of starting late today. Let's see, live market. Kind of starting late today. Yeah, hectic day. I'm just gonna rush just doing the setup real quick, and then I'll discuss something that had happened yesterday. Okay, let me just do this. That happened yesterday. So we have 2 minutes until market open. I just need to, bro. I just need to at least listen to the new week opening gap so that we can see the levels that we'll be working with. Okay, so let me just do that part real quick, and then I'll start talking about it's about here. Yeah, it's around about here. I can see that it's around about here. And then today's one, the high is right over here with 20 seconds. Not 20 seconds. I was looking at the timer right there. Hope you all well. Um, there we go. Okay, we got the open. So let's see, is price gonna go down and take out the 70% of the area, of course. And I want to speak about yesterday. We had price did something in the second macro. Kind of made me felt left out, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Because I looked at the market after that, literally right after that, I looked at it and it made me feel like I was missing out. We had such a clean setup at market open. And yeah, it really made me feel like I was missing out. And yeah, it was such a clean setup. Let me just run through that while the market is shooting up. Here we go. During the second macro, we had this nice break of structure candle, and then price uses fair value gap went into that and did what did I say yesterday? Sells. And look at that. Beautiful. And I said this primary sell side, taking out that first fair value gap and rejecting of that end dog, and price has been going higher ever since. So can't make this stuff up, man. You honestly can't. So that was beautiful. That happened literally at the second macro. Could have used that first value gap as price tapped into it. The price just sold off. But obviously, yeah, I did not trade that. I didn't take any setup. Even today, I'm in a dilemma of whether I'm gonna wait for that second macro to trade, or I'm just gonna let it, or I'm just gonna switch off. Because if I wait for that second macro, it's just gonna be long. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, if you don't believe me, go watch the second video where I said that price was gonna go there. I was looking for sales yesterday. Yeah. And yeah, it presented itself just at the second macro. But obviously, I don't really trade Mondays. So why is it doing that? Sorry. Just dealing with something real quick. Oh, please don't do this right now. No, it's fine. I'll handle that. Where was I? Yeah, we have. Let's see if price gonna reach the midpoint of this opening range gap. That's our initial bias of the day. It's a big gap, though. I'm not gonna lie. So I doubt that would happen. We took out this minor sell side that we had right there. Price just shot up, taking out this buy side right there. That minor buy side as well. So let's just see what direction price wants to go. We have the sell side liquidity. We have sell side. We have that sell side, and then we have this. Because right now we're at all-time highs. So we don't know what direction price has to go. And wait, I don't know if I want to say that as primary. I just say sell side for now. Okay, and then yeah, we'll sort out the rest right now. Um, my head is still. I already spoke about that, so I can delete that. We have news at 10, and then we have the and dogs. Nice. I mean, you guys can leave the indicator on, but I just like taking it off, and it just works for me. So that's just per reference of me actually having it on my chart by myself, just so I can see. And yeah, uh, well, my LEDs keep blinking, bro. It's annoying me. Uh, CE stands for consequent encouragement. Another word for just saying midpoint, which is the sensitive part of the oh the gap. So don't get confused with all of that. Let's just remove that and let's see where the okay, we have that London. This is the London low right here. So we have a lot of sell side liquidity. Let's see, will the news want to take it out? Or that London low right there. So that would actually be my primary sell side. We have these nice relative equal lows right there. That first fair value gap as well. I haven't checked. Uh, looks like we might have a first fair value gap right here. Let me see. Yeah, we have that first fair value gap. This is so small. So wait, so this is our first fair value gap. Like this is small. Like might as well just add that entire volume imbalance. Why are you doing that? And then we have that first fair value gap. First fair value gap of the 5th of May. And then yeah, it's quite big if you ask me. I think it's like yeah. Just change the color. How are you feeling today? Maybe a nice blue. Yeah. So let's see. Is price gonna use that? Obviously, if price gonna be overextended, I don't know. I don't think I'll be taking a trade of that. But like I said, we have news. Let me show you guys. We have Tuesday. We have news. Um, PMI, like, and it's the red folders at 10 a.m. So that kind of like it affects the market. So we're gonna have to just wait it out and see what price wants to do. But obviously now we just overly extended. Let's look at the daily. We overly extended. See in this buy program, just buying. Jesus, yeah, it's just in an uptrend since yesterday's sell. Look at that nice rejection over there of the end dog. Price coming back to that first value gap, and then going higher. Um, yeah, we're in an uptrend right now. An uptrend. So let's just see if we do get an opportunity. If there was no news at 10, I'd say I'll probably try and trade this, but yeah, let's see what the market wants to do. Let's be patient and see what happens. Okay. Um, Sorry for the noise, but okay, I'm back. Sorry for that. Uh, let's see what happens. So we took out these buys. Make sure to adjust that. Oh, forgot. Oh, there's still highs. I mean, took that out. There's these relative equal highs. Let's see, will it pierce, not pierce, but just run through these, and then hopefully get maybe an S&P divergence. The only problem is that obviously on the Nasdaq we are not the same price, and the Nasdaq on all times, and then unlike on ES, see, Nasdaq already took all of these out, and then on the ES we haven't. So let's just see if we can't get an S&P divergence maybe. Okay. Okay. On US 30 we are selling instead of, yeah, we are selling, and then SP 500. Let's see what we perhaps get. Reaction of that. Fix these lights while we wait. So let's just wait for the macro and see what price wants to do. Just mark the macro times. Yeah, but yesterday's sell off when it happened, it kind of messed with my psychology, but made me feel like I was missing out. And yeah, it really did. I'm not gonna lie. And also, just to say, obviously, yeah, it's not clear. It was like a nice body of that, but price rather, you just saw this body move, right? Looking at the times real quick. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's use price gonna continue extending higher. We have the news. Hopefully the news will sell this baby. Okay, the S&P 500 is starting to sell. US 30 has been selling. Took out these lows. Things about to take out these relative equal lows. The ones on the Nasdaq where I said they look nice. The Nasdaq, on the other hand, is still pushing up. So hopefully the Nasdaq can catch up with the two and can get a nice sell off. These lows are so nice. These lows, got these lows. Yeah, but Nasdaq might have its own plans. It generally might just have its own plans, but let's just let it play out and see what happens. Look at the uh, let's see if we can just go below that first February gap. That'll look clean. But like I said, it might have its own plans to just buy because we're just grinding up, having these small retracements, grinding up. See, using that fair value gap, using this small fair value gap, and respecting them. So that small fair value gap, this fair value gap, this one, like this one, coloring a little bit outside the lines. But this one, the small one right there. The bar would have made sense, like generally there was targets, but there's generally nothing to. There's no targets, bro. Okay, that's also buying. Still selling on US 30. On US 30, if we use this for value gap, price has been selling. That first for value gap took out that. Uh, but we just so overextended, bro. Uh, And this London lower line so nicely with the opening gap midpoint. So that would have been like a nice setup that we want to see. Price just selling down. Might happen later in the day or the second macro. Um, I don't know. I have something to do, so I don't think I'll be able to stay for the second macro. But it saves me either way. It saves capital. No trading is also good. No trading is also making money. So you should always remember that. Because you're preserving capital, you didn't lose anything. So that's better than you didn't lose anything. So that's better than actually losing money. So um, but I think tomorrow we'll probably get a setup. I mean, tomorrow, Thursday to Friday. See, so yeah. But today we'll just observe. It seems we'll just observe. Because we keep getting these small retracements and price keeps going, grinding higher. And we're up like, let's see, 70 pips. We've gone up 70 pips so far. We're 2 minutes away from the macro. Um, let's do it, let's see what price wants to do. The V break this low right here. I want to see does price want to come back to this first fair value gap. But so far we keep expecting the fair value gaps. It keeps just grinding higher. Question is how far is it grinding? But hopefully the news does something. Mm. Okay, we're in the macro right now. We have 10 minutes until news, and we're gonna see what happens. Mm. Nah, bruh. I don't think. Yeah, yeah. There's no trading this. There's honestly, you just keep going higher. There's really no trading this. There's no nice retracements we can take. Price is using the Savelli gap, but during the macro, this one, excuse me. So yeah, look at this. It's using this for value gap. Yeah, there's this one. I think we're just gonna have to wait for news and see what price does. We're gonna consolidate. How far it'll take it, I genuinely couldn't tell you. I honestly couldn't tell. I'll be lying to you. I think I will just hop off at when when if there's no good retracements by the end of the macro, it's gonna hop off the charts, bro. Just forget about it and just enjoy about just going about your day. Um, honestly, I would just hop off right now. Not gonna lie, but also I'm doing this for journaling purposes to study what is going on. Um, yeah. Mm, let's see. Let's look at this P500. Still pushing up as well. Today would have been a nice day to be a breakout trader. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. We have this week. We have this week right here. Let's see if it's gonna. I'm gonna leave that there just to study that. Let's see what happens. Mm, nothing clear as of yet. She's been going up. And we have a body right below that. Let's see if this body stays below this midpoint. If this body stays below this midpoint, we want to see price sell. Maybe come back to this. This could be a nice setup. Just selling, coming from here, or waiting for price to come back to this first value gap. Ideally, wouldn't want to see it do that, but depending on how this closes, maybe use that to come here. So let's see what happens. Does it come up? Use that for value gap, and then the body just retraces below this. Use this for value gap. Let the body retrace below this, and see that, yeah. And then we want to see price come to this first value gap. I would enter this trade, but like I said, we have news. We're literally like 4 minutes away from news. I would like this would be my trade idea. I'll be shorting this. Honestly, I'll take that risk and short this. Not a bad risk reward. A nice small trade, and just to come up with this. But also going against the trend, like we've just been buying, bro. But like I said, this would be like the only thing that would make this trade risky if we had no news. I would have taken this trade low key. But at the same time, there's two things that would stop me from taking, like in general, that we've been in a buy program. So why would I go against the trend? And number two is that uh yeah, basically that's it, going against the trend. And yeah, that's one of the things that will kind of like throw me off this trade, that we're going against the trend. And we knew we had all-time highs, right? We had all-time highs as well. So price could just be grinding higher. We don't know how far it would go, because it could be just be like a small retracement, and then price will wanna continue going about its day, like extending higher. But it's a small light trade, like for price to come back to this first fair value gap right there. Um, so yeah, this is like a mock trade. We're not actually in a trade, for those who are wondering. We're not actually in a trade. So this would be like a mock trade I'll be in. So I'm just gonna leave this just to see. But like I said, we have news. So today there's too many factors that are stopping me from getting into a trade, especially at this time, because time is very important at this time. because we have news in 2 minutes. We overly extended our time highs. We literally overly extended. Price could literally just continue going higher. And yeah, I it's just it just doesn't feel right, you know. But I'm just gonna leave this here to see if we're gonna get stopped out or not. Um, yeah. We have that. In case for you guys who don't see, I'm using this for value gap. It has a volume imbalance right there, and there's another fair value back volume imbalance. This also has another volume imbalance. They call this just trying to remember the name. There's a word for this. For like a fair value gap that is a fair value gap that is what's the word? That's like in between two propulsion blocks, something like that. A propulsion block, if I'm not mistaken. It's something like that. So it would be something like this. It's like basically floating in the air. They call it a propulsion block. Just correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really remember properly. So don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. But yeah. And then as you can see already, is price, yes, this respected that and it came back to this fair value gap. And then price had a body closure above that, right? And then tapped into it and went up, but respecting this propulsion block that we have right there. But we came back to retest. Let's see how we come back to retest this. Oh, we have news now. Let's see what happens. Retest this. The way you walk, the way you understand me. Yeah, have a nice push to the downside. We took out this minor sell sign that we had. Let's see what price continue. We just closed right back inside that. We're gonna see how we're gonna continue going higher. We want to see price respect this midpoint of this fair value gap. Let me just change that color so you guys can see. Let me just make it yellow so you guys can just see that. I'm gonna see price respect that. Let's see what happens. Respect that midpoint. So we'd be currently in profit right now, but let's not get excited. Like I said, and you see, this is signaling price respected this body right here. This body respected this fair value gap, right? So we're still in this. It's still it didn't have any body closures above it like how we did this, and then price came back into this going down. We're still respecting this fair value gap because your stop loss would have been here. If you were to buy using this, your stop loss would have been like here. So it would have looked like if you bought with using this would have been your stop loss. Your entry would have been like here. Your stop loss would have been here. And then since we don't have a target to the upside, I would usually just say 125, but we still a bit overextended, so I just say 120 to not be greedy. Maybe just 100, like that. That would have been like your trade idea. So let's see, are we gonna get stopped out? Like I said, I didn't enter this trade. It was just like a mock trade. I just took just to show you guys what I would have done if there was no news. But at the same time, I wouldn't have taken this trade. It's just that I don't want to take buys. It just doesn't. Yeah, it's just no. I don't want to take buys, and yeah, initially I wouldn't want to take a trade at all. So this is just me showing you that why we avoid trading when there's before news and after news. We usually have to wait 15 minutes before you take a trade after news. So um yeah, 15 minutes after news. I wouldn't wait 15 minutes. I'll just honestly just wait for the next macro and just see how price was moving uh, um during that time. You study that and then you use the next macro to see if you can get a setup, right? So yeah, this is what my everybody gets stopped out. This the way you walk. Maybe like a slow grind up. Um, I'm not gonna lie, this cell just made sense to me. It looks so beautiful. But like I said, you're just going against the trend. And that's something I used to do like a lot. Like when I was learning and stuff, I wouldn't how do I put this? When price was like extended a bit, but like price action was just a bit obviously cleaner than this. I would lose a trade because like I would see that let's just say the open range gap was just a bit more smaller, but price didn't get back up into it, right? And sometimes I would signal that, hey yo, we're not trying to sell today. Like it's calm, you know. And most of my wins are sells, which is the crazy things. I'm not gonna lie. I like taking sells a lot, it seems. Just from me studying what I do. And I would when price was above the opening range gap, right? I would seeing that example something like this would happen or bodies would stay above this signaling that hey yo, we're not trying to sell today, we want to buy. And I would just be stuck on this idea of like, oh no, we have to come back to sell, we have to, you know, because in a day two things can happen. Price can buy and sell in one day, but there are days where it's leaning towards more of one direction. So I would lose trades because of things like, so say something like this, you know, like example like it's happening right now. But we still in drawdown regarding this trade. Um, like I said, I'm not in this trade. I'm just showing you guys or demonstrating what I would have done if I were to go into this trade. But either way, it's not a good trade idea. It is a in my books, it's a good trade idea. But anyway, I would yeah. So once price is like above the opening range gap high or yeah, above that, I would still be locked in on this idea of like, oh, we have to sell, we have to sell. Meanwhile, price is telling me, yo, I'm not trying to sell today. I want to go higher. So that's the mistake I would do some like at that time, like most of the time, where I was so fixated on the idea of like selling, knowing even though price is showing me characteristics of like telling me like, hey, yo, I'm not trying to sell, you know. Um I'll probably do a day, maybe one day we go through my old trading journal of this month. I mean of this year, my digital one on Notion. It's just that I don't use that anymore because obviously now I'm filming this, so I don't my changing is more digitalized because of I'm filming it and I do watch back the videos. Um yeah. So my point is exactly is that I would be so fixated on like price telling me like, hey, yo, I want to buy and I wouldn't follow that and I would lose trades because I was on the wrong direction. My ex in the sense of yeah, I will be on the wrong direction. So yeah, that's one thing I do see. But I guess these are only things that you see if you journal a lot and like you journal a lot and you always go back to see like, oh, this is where I went wrong, this is what I'm doing wrong, like those type of things. So yeah, this is from my experience, me observing what I used to do. But yeah, so basically I would, example, instead of see how I use this to sell, or using this value gap, I used it to sell. Instead of using it to sell, imagine if I use this to buy. So like something like this. I know, just bear with me. Like waiting for price to go like above it, come back into it, or wait for it to extend properly above it, right there, come back into it. Like as it comes back, it sees respecting the midpoint and use that to buy. And then I'll be in a trade. This is just an example. And yeah, most of the time, like those the trade when price uses this as a maybe a reclaimed or an inverse, rather using this as an inverse, it would pan out, but these are the things I had to study from my mistakes. I'm just sharing uh, um things that I went through, you know. So yeah, I mean, we're consolidating a bit. This usually does happen after news. We're just gonna see. We have a minute until the macro ends, and then I'm gonna hop off. I'll just see what the price does the next macro. I'm just gonna look at it. I wish I could stay longer with you guys just to show you, or with myself, because it's just me watching this, right? I hope so. Um, yeah, we'll just see what happens. But we're about to get stopped out, man. Basically stopped out, bro. Basically stopped out. Um, but yeah, that's basically it. We took out this short term, this minor sell side, and then we went higher. There we go. We've gotten stopped out right there. Oh no, yeah, would have gotten stopped out. I'm just gonna screenshot this for the thumbnail. Just to keep it plain and simple. So what's the SP 500 doing? Overextended right there. Look at how nicely price used this. It went above the midpoint and went back into it and then extended higher. Let's see what I'm just gonna stay for like another minute or two. And then you're good. Ah, did I do it? Yeah. Let's see what price get up below this, and then this midpoint. I mean not midpoint, sorry. This um sell side, minus sell side. We have these nice relative equal highs right there. We took out this high right there. It's like Friday's high on the SP. We're bouncing off this again. So if you had, let me just finish this with this. So if you had used this fair value gap right over here, this one, brother, yo, whoa, you would have been stopped out. Never mind. I was about to say, but if you had used this fair value gap, I was actually gonna say something regarding this, but yeah, you would have been stopped out. That's how I was just speaking. Let's see what this close above the body, then we saw. Let's see if we're gonna go back and tap into this, and then saw. Bro, thank God I was not in this trade because it would have kind of got to me that the mere fact that, bro, imagine just wait, because we used this and then our stop loss was literally here, 25. But then doing that, putting it above that low, and then doing that kind of messes it up though. But this, this would have sucked though, I'm not gonna lie. Like this would have been so sad. I would have been so sad. Like if I were to see this happen, I guess also like stop loss management comes into a role where maybe like using the high. Um, but yeah, but it was used from my experience learning that, bro, if initially this was my stop loss because we're using this value gap, but I had to be considerate of this propulsion block right here, what's going on over here. Henceforth, I put it here. That's why I put it there. But if you had used that high, 30 pips risking for the value gap, one is to just screw out clean. But I'm not gonna sell you dreams. You would have been stopped out, and I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong. But yeah, um, let's just see. Let's just wanna wait and see and see if it's gonna come back to this. Well, that's one thing to make note of. Getting stopped out here. Studying this price action. Let's see. Does price wanna come back into this fair value gap and this fair value gap? We have this fair value gap right there to come lower. But it's better if it leaves it open though, just to show that I'm gonna speed run that. To pass my phase one on the small account I got, I have to make $150 dollars, and then the phase two it's like 70, I think 75 or something. Which is like light work. Last time I did it, I think I took like it was 2 days. Like my first trade was like 100. Second day was like $50. I passed that. Then on the phase two, I went on this mini losing streak, which kind of like put me underwater. I'm not gonna lie. And then I made it all back with like two trades. I think it was like one trading day, then another trading day. Then I made it all back, and then I passed that fund. I remember, yeah, yeah. We went back into this. Let's see how we're gonna respect that midpoint, and we came back to this fair value gap. So we want to see if price gonna respect this fair value gap and the midpoint of this inverse fair value gap that we have because we are below it. My days, what's going on? It's just a lot of mess. It's a lot of mess. Let me text. Uh, Nice displacement. Price respecting that. Look at the bodies and look at this magic trick. Let me show you guys a magic trick. The midpoint of that. Here, boys, come make this stuff up. Come make this stuff up. I have my cousin link in the bio. Just joking. I don't have that. I don't have that. But yeah, as you guys can see, I want to see price reach this before I head off. Just taking time, bro. I'm trying to avoid making this an hour long. I'm not gonna lie. But I know we're about to reach this now. Now we're about to get here. Oh yeah. This sell off, bro. This like I'm thinking about this would have just messed with me. That's why I guess it's good to put stop loss sometimes above the high. But for precision's sake, like I don't know, the wick just works for me. But using that high, really nice. Would still been in the trade if we had used stuck to not stuck to. I didn't say that, but using that high, that all-time high that we had there, and then shorting that using this, and then stop loss above that, and letting price do its thing. I'm gonna put this back up. Wait, just for the thumbnail, real quick. I said right here, we got stopped out, right? We didn't get stopped out, but because I didn't enter the trade, but yeah, this was the. I'll just put on the midpoint. Just for the sake of a thumbnail. At least I'm being honest in the thumbnail. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna do that for the thumbnail, and then I'm gonna head off now. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. You should learn something from my mistakes, the things that I go through as a trader, the psychological turmoil I go through, like my ranting. Um, yeah, it was a pleasure hosting you guys. You guys joining me, or for me watching myself because I'm gonna watch this later on, maybe in the weekend, because yeah, this is like an hour long, bro. Jeez. It was lovely hearing from you guys. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we get a setup tomorrow. But yeah, bye bye.